Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc., the channel all about bringing you as much nerdy content as possible. We're back in Dragon Village M today, and we're covering the brand new dragon, Xenos. Alright, a lot of people have this hyped up, other people have a lot of problems with it, but let's dive into it and see what we think here. As always, if you're new to the channel, please like the video and subscribe. I review every single new dragon as they come out all the time, as well as when there's kind of a lull, I'll go in and review some other dragons. So if you're looking for ideas or other opinions, then definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm always reviewing dragons, so there's always going to be plenty to see, as well as tons of other videos I do for Dragon Village M all the time. So definitely worth sticking around and checking out. And if you really like what I do, trying to help support the community, trying to help the game grow, and trying to help as much as I can, consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll link in the description below for that, and definitely check that out. If you support me there, you can get access to my Discord server, and chat with me personally and all that stuff, and with some of the other people that also are kind of in the same boat, kind of compare notes sort of thing. All right. But let's look at this guy here. So Xenos is a recovery type, so this is going to be a new healer for the game. It has been a while since we've had a healer, so it's definitely good that they're trying to cover more bases here than just tanks and DPS for once. Let's see, of course it's a Nat 5. Flavor text is a dragon that can be found in the mysterious land of Aurum. Although it lives in water, it can fly and has a wide variety of skills. That it does. Very interesting look here. It's like, I know this is the Earth version, but it's very water. I think the water one is a little more accurate of what it should look like here. And then the light one, the coral growing off of it is pretty awesome. And then the little one, the crab on the head is pretty great there. Alright, but let's really get into this. Let's look at these skills, right? So, all of them are going to have pretty much the same skills across the board, except for the very last passive. Is the only difference between these guys. First, right off the bat, leadership ability. So we do have a leadership ability on this one, and it's evasion up by 35%. So there's been some crazy PvP teams out there. Very few, they're not common, but they're all about evasion. It's not about tanking or raw survivability. It's about evasion. And these teams are just so stacked up with such high evasion that you can't touch them with most of your attacks. Most people don't really invest in accuracy, so some people have really capitalized on that and made evasion teams where their evasion, is super high. And I think having this leadership ability on those teams is I'm not looking forward to running in teams like this, running this kind of composition with this as a leadership, and then everyone having crazy high evasion substats and everything else. So definitely really beneficial for those. It's a very kind of meta new developing tactic, so definitely something to keep an eye on there. But for general players, probably not really used. It's good for a very specific team, but aside from that, I feel like it's a lot less useful. But the drag skill, so this is going to be your main heal skill, right? Recover target's HP and increase attack for 20 seconds. The amount recovered is increased proportional to your attack. So we're scaling off of attack here. I mean, the best healers in the game scale off of attack, right? So attack or like attack speed or something like that, right? So definitely, not a bad option here. So we're kind of keeping in the same with kind of like Dark Totem sort of vibe I'm getting off of that, especially with the increased attack. Increased attack for 20 seconds is big. It's also so 20-second cooldown, of course. 3 target count, solid, and circle, so you can really kind of pinpoint it instead of like coming in from an edge somewhere, which really kind of limits where you can hit a lot of times. And increase the attack for 20 seconds. This reminds me so far a lot of Light Venezi. I use Light Venezia a lot in a lot of content because it's so easy to skill up. It's easy to get enhancements. It's easy to get mastery for. So that's why I use it. But it only does a 10-second attack up. So I think this matches Dark Totem, though, with the 20 seconds attack buff. So that's good, at least. So far, you know, we're doing pretty good. No complaints so far, even with the proportional to your attack. There's plenty of times when running an attack scaling dragon is fine because your support types are going to double your tanks anyway. So no big deal. Moving on to the next passive. Every set duration, attack the enemy with the lowest HP. This attack receives 60% bonus of your attack and inflicts 1.5 damage to enemies when your HP is above 80%. And it hits 3 enemies, and you can increase the damage, but the cooldown will always be 12 seconds. To be completely honest, I hate this. I hate it. Why? Why is there an attack skill on a healing dragon? It's a healer. It's a support type, let's be honest. It might not be the exact support class, but healers are supports, okay? They're not out there to do crazy damage. They're there to keep your team alive and buff them and all that fun stuff. I got it. They needed to make it different from other healers and make it unique in its own way, because so far it's very much just a Dark Totem. But I think this was completely the wrong way to go about it. I think giving him attack skills was not a good idea. Personal opinion there. And that really kind of drags this dragon down for me. Is this one passive right here. I do not like it. And that's just being honest. So let's go on to the next passive, though. Every set duration, summon a sphere that moves between allies and enemies 5 times. The sphere will recover HP for allies and inflict damage to enemies proportional to attack. And it does piercing, which is cool. And you can decrease the cooldown to every 15 seconds. This is kind of a little up in the air with me, right? So I have Fire Varus, right? I talk about it a lot on the channel. I love Fire Varus' skill that does this. The ping-pong thing that it does, it's a lot better than people give it credit for. You're going to get, I think it's like 2 heals. I think you're going to hit the enemy 3 times and then get 2 heals off of it. But honestly, in like Clan Dungeon, when I'm running Fire Varus, he's almost the highest healer. I think sometimes he is. I haven't checked here recently, but he was the highest healer on my entire team because of the ping pong thing. Because I don't have to use a drag skill to get this really big heal off, right? As well as, yeah, it does damage too, so that's, you know, that's fine. Especially, thank God he's an attack dragon, so it's gonna, you know, help with this ability and do more damage. It's proportional to attack, so that's good. And it's piercing, which is also great. So any amount of, you know, defense runes that they've got on isn't going to do anything, you know. So can't complain there. Lots of people running lots of defense-based dragons, and this is just going to cut right through it. So this is kind of a redeeming factor almost for that second passive. If you want a healer that can do a little bit of DPS on the side, I think this was a cool way to go about it. Getting a heal and an attack in the same skill. And unfortunately, it's a little more RNG based. It's just completely random, but you know, not all bad. So moving on, this is where all the dragons are going to differ for each element here. So Earth type, this is the one in the rate up, by the way, is the Earth type. Every set duration, recover the HP of an ally whose HP is very low by 12% over 5 seconds. That's pretty quick. Over 5 seconds, that's a pretty short amount of time. And 12%. And this is going to happen every 20 seconds, so not super common, but it is a pretty hefty amount, in addition to your other heals that you got going on. Again, I'm not saying that second passive had to be another heal option, but it could have been something else. You covered the attack part of it. You didn't need to do another attack passive. 2 attack passives on a healer is stupid, okay? Could have been something else, like, give allies crit rate up or defense up or anything other than just a flat attack skill. I know I'm going back to that again. We're talking about the last passive now, but so yeah, not a bad option here. This is pretty cool. It is only one, and it's every 20 seconds, which isn't the best, but it is for a big amount, and it is for over a very short amount of time, which is cool. The water type, very similar. Every set duration, recover the HP of an ally whose HP is very low by 4% over 5 seconds. The first time I saw this, I was like, is this a typo? And then I realized, oh, he does it to 3 allies. Again, 20 seconds, and it's only 4%. It is nice that it's over 3 allies, but 4% is not a lot. I don't know, maybe there needs to be a little bit more balance here. 12% for one, then you can take it down to, I don't know, 2% per. I don't know, maybe increase the time a little bit, like maybe make 6 or 7 seconds, but then put this at like 8% maybe. I think that would have been a little bit better, because 4% every 20 seconds, even if it is for 3 people, not really a good selling point for me. I'm not liking water too much, although it's the best looking one, most fitting one for this coral dragon that we got going on, this coral look. Also, Xenos makes no sense to me because that's like alien, right? So what does an underwater dragon have to do with Xenos? Again, just nitpicking, but the last one though, this is cool. So when an ally dies, resurrect immediately and recover 30% of its HP. You're gonna get one use out of this in a PvP match, but out of all of them, I like the light most because I love healers that, well, of course they heal, right? But I love healers that can also get a resurrect, and like this does it. And the drag skill gives the attack buff, which is super important in this game these days. Getting attack buff is a pretty nice buff, honestly. The only thing I don't like about this passive is it's on the last slot, so we can't level this up. We can't increase the amount recovered like we can for other dragons out there, right? When you put the resurrect in the last slot, it's very static. It will always come back with only 30% HP. Okay, I mean, this isn't a Verna. We're not going to come back with some kind of super shield on us when we get resurrected, or other dragons that when they resurrect, they bring them back at half health or 60% health or anything like that. I do want to jump over the Dark Totem right fast and just do a quick comparison of the two. Because, right, Dark Totem is, a lot of people would argue, the best healer in the game. I would say Verna is, but Verna is a Topaz dragon, so unless you're going to spend $500 on this game, you're not going to get one, okay? So, out of everything that's obtainable realistically, Dark Totem is probably the best. So he does the attack buff for 20 seconds and scales off attack. However, he does 4. He heals 4 people. Ooh, that's hard to compete with, okay? Leadership ability is, again, evasion up 35%. Wow, it's like, they almost copied and pasted this dragon or something. This is cool, right? So you got every 20 seconds, which we can lower down to every 13 seconds, and we get a heal of 5% over 5 seconds, right? Very similar to the other one, except for it's a little bit better because it's 1% higher, and it removes a harmful effect, and it does 2 allies. I guess that's one less than the other one, but it also removes a harmful effect, and we get to reduce the cooldown on this one. So it's like the water one, but better, I think. Next one, this is what I'm talking about. Instead of an attack skill, we could have just got something like this. Increase some sort of stat. It doesn't have to be an attack one or something, super crucial. It could have been, maybe not evasion, since we already got that on leadership, but, accuracy or something, effect resistance, anything. I would have taken anything over an attack skill. And then, boom, another resurrect, right? Again, you can't scale this one up to make it better, but I think it's just got better options altogether. So Dark Totem's still beating this one out. You get the same heal skill, but 1 extra target. So you get the resurrect the same way. You get this passive heal, right? which is like these two skills are the two final skills of those other two dragons, the water and light one of the Xenos. So, and then one more comparison that's super similar that I personally use because I don't have a dark totem is light Venezi. So we don't have a cool leadership skill, but even then that leadership skill is kind of situational, the evasion. So right, you're scaling off of attack, right, and it's a 3 count, so about on par with the new 5-star Xenos. The attack buff is only for 10 seconds, so that's a shame. HP absorption to an ally with highest attack, and this does 2, and increases defense for 15 seconds. That's super awesome. We can reduce the cooldown to every 16 seconds that we apply this effect. So while it's not a direct heal, like passive heal, it's a way to get HP to our dragons, right? Especially our DPS, because they're usually the ones that are the squishiest, that are losing the most health. And this is what I'm talking about, right? So having the heal or the resurrect on a different passive where we get to bump it up. So when they die, they come back with 30% for most people. However, we've got this increased recovery by 50%. So half of this, so 15, so we're coming back with 45% health, just right under half. Right under half, as opposed to everyone else that's coming back with a third of their health. So it makes the resurrect a little bit better, which I like. And then the last one here is just increases the drag skill, which is a shame. It's not another passive, right? But they get to heal more. So all 3 of those enemies, or allies, sorry, are getting an additional 7% over 10 seconds of max HP. So it's not like, it's a set in stone amount. We're getting 77% back of their health after the heal, okay? So I think that's pretty awesome. But not about those two, but that is kind of my thinking here on this dragon is, while potentially it is pretty great, the attack buff is solid 20 seconds, and we don't have our last passive here isn't based off the drag skill, so we're getting 3 active passives at one time instead of only 2 like a lot of dragons have. So to trigger this ability here, I don't have to use the drag skill. This is just going to apply, which is pretty nice. This can be situational, the ping-pong. Like I said, on my Varus gets more healing done than any other healer on my teams, on my raid party, right? I've got 2 dedicated healers, 1 on each party, and then Varus in addition to that. And he out-heals both of those guys by himself. That should tell you how good the ping-pong ability is, okay? It is a little questionable, right, you think? But trust me, it's there. And then this last one here, I hate it. If this right here wasn't on this dragon, and we had anything else, I would really love it. Earth is pretty cool. If you don't have a good healer, this is definitely an option. I don't know if you started the game with Earth Smart, maybe you want to keep Earth Smart. I don't know. It's a tough call. Every healer's got their own special thing. But I don't think that this dragon has anything that really sets it apart. That makes it so much better, right? As compared to like Dark Totem or Light Venezi or something like that. The light one is pretty close. It has the Resurrect. Resurrect is huge in this game. If you have a Resurrect, I mean, that can really save you in a lot of content. But everything else that it has going for it is just kind of meh. Again, the target count of 3. I mean, I can get a 4-star that does the same thing this guy does. I mean, really? And probably even better, because I don't have a stupid attack passive that I have to worry about. Okay, so honestly, I feel like this is the same thing as Light Venezi, except harder to skill up, harder to enhance, and harder to mastery. Is it really worth it? My vote is no on this. I don't think I've ever really just downvoted a dragon and did not like it. Some people are saying that it's the best healer in the game over Dark Totem. I would love to know what you're thinking. And actually explain it well, because I don't see it. I don't know how you could say this dragon is better than Dark Totem. Dark Totem just provides so much buff and utility and healing for the team, where this guy, he's got the one heal skill, which is a good drag skill, sure. It's got the ping pong paddle, which is questionable. It could be good, it could not be good. It really just kind of depends. Like I said, I've had good luck with it on Varus, but that doesn't mean that it's the best option. It's not something reliable. It's not a reliable heal, right? And that's the only other way to heal with the light one, is with that ping pong ability. So, and then the Resurrect. Resurrect is cool. Just I hate this passive here, the bubble of fierce attack. So, I would love to know what you guys think about this. Those are my opinions. I know I'm like flip-flopping back and forth on how I feel about it. I love parts of it, but then I hate other parts of it. So maybe it's a way to balance it so it's not too OP. If this was something, you know, like some sort of stat buff, then yeah, it would probably be like OP and probably would be the best healer in the game at that point if it had some sort of buff here instead of an attack skill. I could definitely see it, but it doesn't. So, and then I think that drops it down quite a good margin. So, let me know what you guys think. I would love to get some discussion going in the comments below on what you guys, you know, how you feel, how you disagree, or how you do agree with me, or if you have, you know, good examples of what makes it so good. I would like to hear them. All right, but with that, we'll see you next time.